So, a question I get asked a lot is, Yeti Detective, how can I be as handsome and successful as you? The answer is, you can't, but I will teach you today, by the end of this video, to run a web service. You can go from zero knowledge to running a web service of your very own. That's what we're doing. So, buckle up. So, to start, you're going to need a few things. One, a computer. The thing you're watching this video on is probably a kind of computer, but if it's also a phone, you will want to switch to a computer that has either Mac OS, not iOS, Linux, or Windows 10. That computer will need a terminal interface. If you're on Mac OS or Linux, getting to the terminal is pretty easy. On Mac, you do Command Spacebar, and that'll open your Spotlight search. Just type terminal and open the program that it pulls up. On most flavors of Linux desktop, was it Control Alt T will open you a terminal, or you can just use whatever your search function on your version of Linux and search for terminal. If you're on Windows 10, you will want to use PowerShell, which I believe all of the bash commands that I'm going to show you in here are also usable in PowerShell on Windows 10. If I'm wrong about anything, then I'll try to go back and fix it. The next thing you'll need is Git, which is just a version management software. It's very easy. I'll post a link. It's a little more annoying to put in Windows than it is on Mac or Linux. If you're on Linux, you probably have it already and it's enabled. If you're on Mac, just type Git into your terminal and it'll say something about needing to install Xcode tool, command line tools, and tell it to do that. It takes like an hour. You will need Node JavaScript because we're going to write this program in JavaScript. Is it because it's the best? No. Is it because it's the easiest? Yes. Number 5, you'll need a GitLab account. GitLab is a web hosting service for Git repositories. We don't use GitHub because they contract with ICE, and ICE are Nazis. You'll need a Heroku account because we're going to deploy the service publicly to Heroku. You'll need a bottle of bourbon. Oh wait, that one's just for me. And you'll need a code editor. I use Atom, which is open source. A lot of people like VS Code lately these days, but I disagree with them. I think VS Code's stupid. I use Atom. Do it. Okay, I'm not gonna lie to you. This is like my 5th take. I keep going down rabbit holes. ADHD is a hell of a drug. So this is going to be fast and dirty. You're going to have a lot of questions about all of the decisions that I made. So I've got my terminal open. I'm going to delete the old thing that I made because I'm going to make a whole new thing. I opened my terminal. I did CD desktop, which is a thing you can almost certainly do. I think every single person should be able to do CD desktop. That's change directory to my desktop, which is usually one directory up from your home folder, which is usually where your terminal starts. I don't know if that's true in Windows PowerShell, but I do an experiment, find out. You can, I'm doing it again, going down a rabbit hole. So every directory should have there's a dot value and a dot value. So dot refers to your current location and dot refers to the parent folder. So you can sort of like traverse your file structure that way. And you can type ls means list everything that's in here, and it'll show you all the stuff. ls-a means also show me hidden files, which is why the files that start with dot show up in when I do lsa, and they don't show up when I just do ls. Anyway, we're going to make a directory. It's going to be called the thing. This is the thing that we're going to make. I'm going to change directory into the thing. We're going. My cat just knocked something off the shelf. No big deal. We're powering through. We're going to make this a node project. So you should have installed node, which means you can type node-v and it will give you a version number. You can type npm, stands for Node Package Manager, -v, and it will give you a version number that doesn't start with a V for some reason. Why do they have 2 different standards for that? Who knows? Who cares? You should have git installed, which means you can type git --, Version, those are hyphens by the way, the dash. When I say dash, I mean hyphen, but sometimes I mean backslash, but also sometimes I mean forward slash. I say the word dash for all three of those things. So anyway, if you did any of those commands that I just showed you and got some kind of response that was like, whoops, don't know what that is, then just go back to just rewind the video, click the links that I posted, you dingus. Alright, so to make a node project, it's npm node package manager init, which is short for initiate, which is Spanish for start something. So the package name is going to be the thing. It knows this because that's what we call the folder. If it's in parentheses, it means it's a default value. So if you don't type anything, just hit enter. That's what your thing's gonna be. Version 1.0. It's great. Description. This is the thing. Entry point is not going to be index.js. We're going to do server.js because we're not making a package. We're making a web service. So we're going to have a little server. It's going to be cool. Test command is just going to be test, which means I type. I'll show you later. And you type test to run test. So what else would you type? The Git repository we don't have. We're going to type to be. Actually, let's just leave it blank. Who cares? We're not putting that in there. Keywords, no. Author, me. You can type your own name in here. You can type whatever name you want. License, ISC, sure, we'll use it. About to write to. This is my entire path from the root directory of my computer, which means you can't go below this. I have a users folder. I have my username. I have my desktop. I have the thing that I made. I have this file name called package.json. We're going to write to this. Is it okay? The default value is yes. If I type nothing and hit enter, boom, we did it. Now if I list everything in this directory, oh, look, I've got a package.json. I can type cat package.json. Oh, you're supposed to pronounce it Jason, even though JS on. Anyways, pronounce Jason. So now we have this little guy. What does it mean? If you've installed the Atom code editor, you can do Atom dot, and it will open a new code editor right in your Mojo. If you install VS Code, then figure out how to open VS Code. I don't know. Also, if you're on Mac or Windows, I don't think you can just type Atom dot. You have to first, after you install Atom, you have to open it regularly, come to your Atom menu, and do install shell commands. I think that only works in Linux right off the bat, which everyone should be using Linux. I'm not, because I broke my computer at home. It's broken because I broke it. My bad. Okay, so we have this. What does it mean? Who cares? Wait, who does care? I guess nobody. Wow. So we need to serve. Oh yeah, right. I opened this because, okay, so our main entry point is server.js, which doesn't exist. So we're going to touch server.js. .js means it's a JavaScript file. Oh, look, now it exists. Boom. So to make a server, we're going to require the library express, which means a thing. So right now, if I do the way that you run your code that you write, your JavaScript code that you write, you type node, that's the process name, that's the thing you installed, the file name. Oh, the way I can type that so fast is called auto completion in the terminal, which means if you just sort of like start typing something and then hit the tab key, it will complete what you're typing. So tab is how you autocomplete stuff. You just know the first couple letters. It cannot find module express because when we require a module, it looks in a folder called node modules, which we don't have. So the way that you get that is you could make it yourself, but that would be dumb. Don't do that. Do npm install and then the name of the package. So now we're going to install Express. What does that give us? It gives us node modules and it gives us this package lock. Don't look at that. It's crazy. Don't look at node modules either because it's full of what. So I can explain to you that when we require the Express module, it looks in this node modules folder for a directory called Express, and it requires the index.js folder from it. Index.js is just requiring its own lib express code, which is all this stuff, which a lot of it like is requiring other things and like router, main and router, and what is that, middleware and router, and whatever. It's cool. I get you get it, so just like get free stuff, free programs that other people have already made. It costs $0. It's great. Now we're going to make another constant called app, which is going to be equal to express instantiated express, executed express, whatever. So we the code that gets stored from this module into this variable, we then execute it, and we store the executed value in here. That's going to be an object, which is useful. And then we're going to, so we can tell the app to do some things. I'm going to tell it to listen on port 8080, and this is called a callback function. It's an anonymous function, which means this does not have a name, which means it's just going to run it immediately. But as it is a callback, it's not going to run it until after it's done the first thing I said, which was to listen on port 8080. So and that's what it's going to say. So now what happens if we do node server is what it's called. Node server. Oh, now it's listening port 88. Amazing. What does that mean? Let's use a browser. You can use Chrome if you're a fool, or you'll use Brave if you're like me, a smarty. Or a Firefox, or it doesn't matter what browser you use, all of them can do this. So if you go to localhost, that means my own computer's IP address, colon means I'm about to tell you a port, and port number 8080, and what we see is that we cannot get slash, which is the base route, which is this guy. It means we don't have a route, we didn't send a route. So we got an error. Why did we get an error? Well, we told it to listen on port 8080, but we didn't tell it to do anything while it's listening. So we're going to say, hey app, if you ship a get request to the base route, that's where to go, that's that base route. What I want you to do is run this code, another callback. Woo! Hey, but in this callback we want to capture the request and the response, and what we want to do is we're going to log the request headers, and we're going to respond dot send. So the response is a kind of object, and you can, one of the methods on the object is send. A method is like a behavior, which you can define by passing in I am service on your computer. Now, if we come here and refresh, we get the exact same thing because the node process didn't know that we changed the code. We don't have any way to tell it really. So we kill the node process with, if you open your terminal, go to hold down the control key. On Windows, Linux, and Mac, it's the control key on all of them. Control and then C as in Charlie, that is the keyboard interrupt signal, which says whatever process is running in this terminal, I want you to kill it. Right. And then we just restart the process, node server, now it's listening port 8080 again. Let's come back here and make so when you type a URL, when you type an address into your address bar of your browser, you're making a GET request to that address. And look, and it's responded with the text, I'm a service line computer. So yours will probably look like this because you probably don't have dark reader, which is awesome. I do, so my screen is dark and it's wonderful, it doesn't hurt my head. Now we have logged to our console of the process that is listening to our server code. We logged the headers, so we know the host is localhost 8080. We know this is where the request was sent that we responded to. Connections to keep alive, cache control. You can just Google all these things. User agent Mozilla 5.0. Why is it Mozilla? I'm not using Firefox. They're all Mozilla. It thinks I'm anyway, whatever. Yeah, I'm not going to explain any of that because that's how the other videos got to be an hour long. So now you know how to send some text to a browser, which no one cares about. It's stupid. No one wants to do it. Also, I'm not going to get sidetracked. So let's figure out how do we send like an HTML file? Do you guys remember? MySpace, or if you're really old like me, LiveJournal? So I'm sick of using Control-C and then typing node server again to like kill and restart this process. So I'm going to npm I, which is short for install, save dev, which means this isn't going to be, oh yeah, I didn't show you. Hang on. So when we installed Express, it listed it, it added it to our package.json manifest as a dependency. So now when this project goes to other places, then the other places can use this manifest to know what dependencies exist. So what we're going to do is npm save dev, which means don't save it as a dependency, we're going to save it as a dev dependency, which means when we're running an environment in like a production mode, I don't need my dev dependencies. But when I'm just working on it on my computer, when I'm developing on it, then I do need my dev dependency. So this is a dev dependency called noDaemon. There we go. Hey, noDaemon has installed now. Oh, so now we have a dev dependency called noDaemon. Wonderful. And what do we do with that? Oh, I'm going to add a script. So we have the script value where we stored our test command, which doesn't do anything. Hang on. No tests created yet. All right, so we're going to add another script called daemon. No, the thing I just did, you don't have to do that. That's fine. And it's going to say noDaemon, so we're going to run the noDaemon process on server.js. How this is amazing. Okay, so what do? We type, to run our scripts that are in package.json, you type npm run the name of the script, daemon. Now it's running noDaemon. What does that mean? There's any time enter rs, watching directories, all of them, watching extensions. This isn't every directory on the computer, it's every directory that's a subdirectory of the thing. There it is. So now we're starting node server, it's listening on port 8080. If I go here, boom, oh, path must be absolute or specify root to res.send file. So what this is saying is, you told me that when I get a request to here, you want me to send a file called index.html. What you did not tell me is where do I get that file? So let's swing on back over to here. I'm going to use on Mac Command T, on Windows and Linux Control T. I think opens a new tab in your terminal. It's either Control T or Alt T. Who cares? We're going to touch index.html. And then we come back here. So now, here we go. Now we have an index.html. If you have Atom, you type HTML at the top of the file, hit the tab key, and you get all this good stuff. If you don't, if you have Sublime Text or VS Code, have fun typing all of this out by hand. You want to pause the video here. So my page title is going to be the title of my page. Oops. You put it between the title tags, between the angle brackets. This is the beginning of the header of the file. This is the end of the header of the file. Here's the beginning of the body of the file. We're going to put a header tag that says, I am a service that serves an HTML file, but just lives on your computer. Now let's come back here to the first tab, and we see nothing's changed. Type RS. Now you're gonna listen? Okay, I guess. It's kind of disappointing, but whatever. All right, so now when we hit our base route, it should res.send file index.html, which is right here. What have I done? Oh, but it's the same error. Why is that? Because I'm not sure why this is, but the node process doesn't know. It does know its home. It has a way of knowing where it lives. But in Express, when we tell it to send a file, it doesn't make the assumption that the file lives in the same directory that the process lives in, which is a fair assumption, because normally you're going to have like nested project folders with like different files that are related to each other in different subdirectories, and have your projects very well organized. You're not just going to stick everything in a bucket like a moron. Is that, are we allowed, we don't say moron anymore? I think. I apologize. I guess we're going to do that. Oh, so now we need another package. It's called path, and in order to have it, we're gonna have to npm install path. That was so fast. So now let me put this in some round parentheses. Actually, never mind, because it's going to be confusing to you. So I'm going to delete that. So now we just have send file parentheses. Inside of that, we're going to put path dot join in some more parentheses. Inside of path dot join underscore underscore dir name. That's the directory's name where the process lives. So yeah, so it does know where the process lives, but I need to explicitly tell it where to find index.html. Oh, hang on, let's make sure that restarted. It did. Now I come here, refresh this page. Hey! I'm a service that serves an HTML file, but just lives on your computer. Amazing. All right, cool. But there's one more thing I want to show you. I don't know, I'm not sure this is relevant. I should probably lose out of the video. So let's say we want to have some kind of media asset, which all of your different, like, you're going to have a style sheet that's going to be an asset, a JavaScript file, at least one of them is going to be an asset. What that means is we have this HTML file, but then there's other stuff that it needs. So when this HTML file loads, it's going to make a network call back to the server at the route img for a picture of a cat that I drew. And I don't have one yet, hang on. Just gonna wait for GIMP to load. Make a new, okay, and you can use whatever image editor you want for this, or like take a photograph. Oh, this looks like my cat Charlie. No, it doesn't. Oh, he's a big old chungus. Oh, he's got big cute eyes. So I said this is my 5th take of this. I've drawn a different cat every single time. Oh my goodness, he looks furious actually. Oh, he's such a mischievous boy. Amazing. So we're going to export him as catman.png right into my the thing folder. Oh, there he is. Oh, there it is. So how is our, let's just, did we restart? Did you restart? Did you restart? What's happening? Why do you look like that? Oh, that was our last. You didn't restart. Oh, it doesn't restart when I upload HTML files and JavaScript or PNG files. It only restarts when I change JavaScript files, which, but at least I can just type RS. I don't have to do like Control C and then node the file name. I didn't run into this problem any of the other times I've done this. So now when I refresh this, it's going to load the text from here, and then it's going to load this image file from the getPath img, except it doesn't do that because we don't have one. Because when I have no idea what I just did. But okay, so when the server runs, it knows what to do if it gets a request to here. But if it gets a request to img, the img path it doesn't know what to do. So now we're going to app.get mg. I know sometimes I'm using double quotes, when I'm using single quotes, it's confusing. Let me just that. Okay, just it doesn't matter in JavaScript, but like just do exactly what I'm doing. Okay, so this is just the same. We're going to get a request and a response. We're going to execute some code, which is to respond.send file, and the file is going to be path.join their name index. Wait, not index, cat man.png. So cute. Format that. Okay. Look, it restarted. So this is cute, but you can't send localhost. If you send localhost 8080 to your friends and like, hey, check out what I made, it's going to go to their computer's port 8080, which is not going to load what your service says. So we're going to put it on the internet, which means we're going to go to Heroku.com. You should have already made an account. I'm going to hit new in the top right, create a new app. This app's going to be called the thing, except you can't use underscores, the dash thing, except for somebody else already has one called the dash thing. So we're going to call this one Yeti Detectives thing. You cannot call it that because I am using it right now. I'm taking it. So call it whatever your name is, the thing. Okay, so I might have mentioned before you need Heroku command line interface. I don't think I did actually, but you do. You need it. So when you get to this point, just click on this guy. Does it open a new page? Whatever, it does. You know what? Right click on it or double finger click or whatever, open it in a new tab and install the command line interface from here. Just follow these steps. You can do it. You're a smarty. I believe in you. You need the command line interface. Also, yours looks like this, not this. Disgusting. Oh god. So after you get that installed, then you do that's my header again. Then you do Heroku login, and it's going to say press any key to open up the browser. So I pressed a key, and it's going to take me to Chrome, which I don't want. I want to do it in Brave because that's where all my personal data is stored. So now I'm logged in. Come back here. Oh, look. I'm logged in as Yeti Detective. So before I can push this, so it's not a Git repository yet. Don't make it a Git repository. Do not follow these instructions. Only install the thing. If you already followed these instructions, oh my god, I need you to just go one step at a time. So anyway, we're going to go to GitLab, which you should also have already made an account on if you followed the instructions at the beginning of the video. We're going to make a new project. Oh, look, it's the exact same path almost. This one's called, let's call it Yeti Detectives thing. Yeti Detectives thing. Just call it whatever you called your Heroku one. Make it public so you can post a link as a comment to the video. We can all just look at each other's stuff. You know, you show me yours, I'll show you mine. I'm already showing you mine. Mine's on the internet. Where's yours? You do not need any of these instructions. Oh, wait, hang on. Don't follow those either. Ignore that. Only listen to me. I am the new way to go. I am the way of the future. That's from a My Life with the Thrill Kill Cult song. Most of you 90s kids won't get that. Ooh. Okay. So, do you remember init is French for start the thing? We're going to git init. This should not give you an error because you installed Git. I told you to do it, and then we checked it already, and you're supposed to go back if you didn't do it. If you don't have Git installed, you're hopeless. You're hopeless. Okay, so now we have a Git repository. Type git status. It's going to say, these are all the things that I know about, but you didn't tell me to remember. And guess what? We don't want it to remember node modules. For reasons I'll explain in another video another time. So don't commit node modules. Do type this in your thing. echo node modules. What is that? A right pointing angle bracket? A left pointing Pac-Man mouth? That thing. You know, it's next to the question mark key. We're going to put it in a file called get ignore. Get ignore. Oh wow, I spelled it right the first try. So now when you do get status, guess what? You don't have node modules anymore because get is ignoring it. You might have guessed that that's what the get ignore file does. Everything else we're going to get add dot. Normally don't do that. Normally don't do get add dot. That's reckless, but we're going fast. We're almost at the 30-minute mark. Jeez. Okay. So get status again. Everything should be green now. We're going to get commit. The commit message. Initial commit. Initial is Latin for init. We need to put this on the internet. So now we do need this line. Get remote add origin, and then you'll have a different URL than I do, but just find the instruction where it tells you to get remote add origin. Paste that right on in there. And then we're going to get push. I should do one more thing. Okay, so you get branch v. This is all your code is stored in a branch called master. I don't know how to describe what a branch is to you at this time without telling you about branching, which is wow, amazing. Okay, so we're gonna get. Oops. Okay, so we added a remote. We added it, and it's called origin. So when we do get push, that means the stuff that's here, put it in another place. The place we're going to put it is origin, and what we're going to put there is the code in the master branch. Wow, computers. So now in GitLab, if you refresh that page, instead of all these stupid instructions, you should have your repository. So now that we have a Git repository, we can come back to Heroku, where we've created our project. That's what's happening here. And you just need this line here, Heroku. You already logged into Heroku, right? You downloaded the Heroku command line interface and you logged into it. That's all you've done with Heroku. Then you Heroku get remote, get :remote. -A means the name of the app is the Yeti detective thing. Put that in your terminal. Wow. Now if you do get remote v, you have your origin remote, which is pointing to GitLab, and you have your Heroku remote, which is pointing to Heroku. And you have so many powers now. You can get push. Whoops, get push to Heroku. So where you're pushing it is Heroku. What you're pushing is the code in your master branch. And now you're getting feedback from Heroku. It says it can tell that it's a node app because you have a package JSON. Creating a runtime environment, it's just like doing default node project stuff. It's installing Node on itself. Oh, it's one version higher up than me. Now it's installing dependencies. So the reason we don't have to push the Node modules folder is because the production environment should do that for you. So it runs npm install and gets everything in your Node manifest, your npm manifest, your package JSON. Installing Node. I'm not 100% sure what the difference between these two lines are. It shouldn't install Node even, but whatever. It's like the point of making a dev dependency. Whatever, Heroku, whatever. Oh, it's pruning the dev dependency, so it downloads it and then deletes it, I guess. That sucks. And I hate you. Nah, not you, person watching this. I have no idea who you are. You mean nothing to me. I don't hate you. I hate whoever designed this. Yeah, so now it's deployed. So, shoot. I forgot something. So if you go to open app, you're gonna not load your code because I'll tell you. This will tell you in like 5 minutes. But if you Heroku logs -- tail, then you'll get your logs from Heroku. Look, it's listening on port 8080, except it's not, because when you go here, when you go to the URL, you're sending a GET request to like the computer in general. The Heroku makes like a virtual computer and it runs your code on it, but you don't really get to specify what port that server is listening on. What you can do is determine what port Heroku's telling it to listen on. So we're gonna make another variable in our server.js file. It's gonna be called port in all caps. That's not a technical thing, that's just like a conventional thing, which I will also explain. And we'll set that equal to a value called process.env.port or 8080. So if the computer that this is running on has an environment variable called port, then I'm going to set this to whatever that value is. If it does not, we're going to set it to 8080. And then we got to tell this guy down here to listen on port instead of 8080. And I'm going to actually delete that string and replace it with backticks. Do you know what backticks are? The very top left key, like the topmost leftmost key of your keyboard, or like somewhere around that area, is the backticks key. It also has the tilde on it. Tilde. And then we're gonna have listening on port, and then cash money, $, curly brackets, aka I forgot what those are called in real life. I don't even remember what normal people call those. You just call them curly brackets. They're not parentheses. What the heck are they? There's a real word. Is there? Are they parentheses? I don't remember. But pass the variable name in. And so this is called string interpolation. So this is going to make the words listening on port, but then it's going to make this into whatever the value is. And that's what it's going to do. So now if you do, we've already restarted here. Yeah, I guess it's good practice to like double check that it's still working, which it is. Okay, so go to Control-C to kill your Git logs, but look at it. Error, where's the error? Where's it saying? Oh, web process failed to bind to cache money port within 60 seconds of launch. Which it'll do, because we didn't tell it to. We didn't tell it to do it. But now if we get status, we've got changes in server, so we have to recommit it. So we're gonna git commit -am, which remember I said don't do add dot because that's everything. Never do commit -a because that skips the add dot. It's even more destructive. I'm teaching you terrible habits right now. Added port variable. Getting the port. Getting the port from the env. If you put typos in your git commits, they last forever. It's so hard to change them. We're gonna push to the origin. Also, committing directly to master is not a good practice either. We'll cover that later. Pushing to Heroku, getting more Heroku logs. All this stuff's doing. We're doing the thing. We're getting it. We're getting it. Getting it. We getting it. Getting it. Getting it. Getting it. Got it. So now we go to this guy. Oh, he's on the internet. Now you can share this URL with your friends and loved ones, or people you hate. Put a picture of yourself giving the double flippy birds. Post that link. Post it in the comments. Show everybody. Let's all just show off how smart we are at computers. Amazing. Wonderful. I'm done with you. Goodbye. How do I stop this?